Do you think preparation is always sparked in fear? Or can you name
good question.
Can you name something that you've prepared for that didn't start with fear?
I wouldn't say it's fear. I'm not like, I guess there's always going to be a little underlying of I'm scared I'm not going to be.
Welcome, friends, to the Budo Brothers podcast. My name is David, and joining me, as always, are Eric and Kyle, founders of Budo Brothers.
What's up?
So let's set some fire to this thing. What do you say?
Light it up.
Light it up, man.
Lighten it up. And what we're going to do, that was really good. What we're going to do is talk about preparation. Are you prepared for this episode?
I am not prepared, but I'm prepared to pretend like I'm prepared because
The most important thing to preparation is just pretending. Are we talking about pretending or preparation?
real preparation, Kyle, not the pretend stuff that we do.
But what is the difference between pretending and preparation?
All right, well, let's get into it.
One of them will succeed. One of them will not, I think, is pretty much what that's going to come down to.
Exactly.
So talk to me about preparation. Let me throw this out as just a real quick question and get you think on your feet. What was the last thing you had to prepare for? Go.
Speech. I was a keynote at an event in our city, and I was talking about innovation and entrepreneurship, and I had to prepare like I've never prepared for anything in my life. It was actually one of the biggest preparations things that I've done because it was an audience of 200 people.
So pretending would not have
negative.
worked. Right.
Mine also was a public speaking event, but it got shut down at the last minute. But I was preparing, listening to audiobooks, trying to get my public speaking game on, trying to figure out the words that I'm overusing and I'm saying. So yeah, the same goes for me. What about you, David?
My last one was actually setting up a Discord server, and in doing that and knowing that I was going to have a flood of, 100 to 200 people immediately running into this thing, was preparing it in such a way that they're not coming in there and finding themselves in, lost or confused with it or overwhelmed by it or whatever else. So preparing topics for discussion, preparing areas, preparing permissions and roles. If you're not really sure what Discord is, if you're listening, similar to like a group chat kind of thing, like Slack and things like that. So it was getting all of that structure set up. So when I was bringing the people that needed this space in, they were ready to go. And so everything was prepared for.
Sounds like something you'd have to be really prepared for, because nothing drives me crazier than being in on a group chat that you don't want to be in on and getting like 19 notifications on your phone, like ding, 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 and none of them that you care anything about. So preparing and making sure that the Discord service is set up and probably eliminating the types of people that you don't want in there is very important.
That is true too. I mean, really, like anything, when you're, even if you turn it to like business or entrepreneurship, is being prepared for trying to see those things that you have to prepare for, even if you're not really sure what they are. Before you just get run over by the truck, you need to get out of the way of the truck, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so setting it up like, hey, I'm going to create a website and I'm going to send, X amount of people to it before you have something really basic in place, or they're going there and they're seeing, stuff that says under construction on your pages, or, things like that. Like you do want to set yourself up for success in some way.
Absolutely. And I think the interesting part about preparation, like preparation usually indicates that there is an event in the future that you need to prepare for. So you're getting a belt test, you're entering a competition, you're going into a tournament, there's something that is in the future that you need to be doing things in order to produce an outcome that you want. And that it's like almost like a match that's lit. Soon, those fuses, those old school like cartoon bombs where they light a fuse and it just like
right.
Yep.
Time that the fuse is time, and it's coming, right? And that event is coming.
So do you think preparation is always sparked in fear? Or can you name
good question.
Can you name something that you've prepared for that didn't start with fear?
I wouldn't say it's fear. I'm not like I guess there's always going to be a little underlying of I'm scared I'm not going to be prepared. Well, shit, I better do something to prepare for this.
Right.
But I also get excited that, I get to public speak. I can't wait to prepare for this. That's a different energy.
Mm-hmm. But are you preparing? Because if you weren't nervous about doing poorly or scared about doing poorly, would you prepare?
Is that cup half full or half empty?
I guess.
Are you excited about excelling? Or are you scared of losing?
That's true. I guess.
I'm excited about excelling.
Yeah.
I'm not scared of losing. And that's the difference, man. And it's the same thing. But it's not. It's like, it's different. The cup is half empty, but the cup is also half full. I could be scared of failing, or I could be excited about excelling.
I would have to say, for me, most of my reason for preparing for anything is out of fear. I do think fear is one of the biggest driving things in my preparation. And I don't think fear is a bad thing. I think fear is very good. It's something that we've always had as humans that protects us, that it teaches us.
Yeah.
Being scared of a tiger is probably a good thing. Being scared of winter is probably a good thing. So fear is a emotion which we then use as a tool. But I do really think that internally, it's what sparks me to prepare. Having some type of fear of loss, fear of not meeting my expectations at a certain time causes me to learn more, to grow, to prepare for an event.
Right. David, what do you do?
So would you call it fear of failure? I'm wondering if that's really what it boils down to.
Maybe it could be failure because you're relating it to past experiences.
Right.
But
so like, preparing for a test, like studying for a test, if you're in college or whatever, it's like, I'm afraid that I'm going to do poorly. I need to prepare for this test. Certainly. I think there is a little bit of a mindset thing to that. It stretches over both, some of it is that fear-based, some of it is, I just want to do well, so I'm going to prepare. When I've done a lot of obstacle races, I've Spartan races, right, in particular, and for those, it's like you're training for it, you're preparing for it. I treated it like a big time belt test or something like that, where it's like you're spending a long time trying to get your body in shape and ready, and running up hills and hill sprints and carrying things around and all that kind of stuff. My metric for success was get to the finish line. I didn't need to beat the top runners in the world, right? I just needed to get there. But still put in all that time and that preparation to make sure I could do it as well as I could. And it's kind of like a personal standard more than anything else. And so that whole preparation for it or being prepared for it, I think there's so many different dynamics to it, whether it is fear, whether it is just wanting to do well. I'm not sure there's probably a lot of motivators for that. Mm-hmm. Competition being one of them too.
Absolutely.
Big time. It's interesting because I look at different. I started asking myself the question of, well, can you be over prepared, right? Like can you like paralysis by analysis? Like, hey, you're not you're preparing too much for the big day versus just getting into action, right? You're too much preparation and not enough doing. What makes me say that is the world of entrepreneurship. I mean, how many times have you seen people that are working on a business plan for 2 years? I'm preparing. I'm getting prepared. I'm getting prepared to launch a successful bit. It's going to come and prepare. They forgot to actually say, shoot the damn gun. Get after it.
Right.
And Eric and I talk about this a lot, but I'm going to bring something up that he'll know exactly what I mean, and those listening may not. But the eat your steak principle. And this principle is something that Eric and I have discovered with time. Is Eric is slightly a hoarder, but
I'm a hoarder.
Yeah,
I know. I hoard. I'm a rat. Like I'm a pack rat.
It's for preparing for events, preparing for something amazing, preparing.
Right. Oh, this will be useful one day.
Yes.
It goes in my drawer of random shit. People are like, what are you collecting?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm resourceful.
So Eric's dad gave him these amazing.
Back up.
Okay.
before we get, you got to have some context to the story. I was coming off my worst loss ever. Went BK, cashed out my retirement savings at the ripe age of 30, went flat broke. So I was in this really scarce mindset, right? Like I doubted myself. I thought I was an entrepreneur, beat the shit out of myself, really. And I remember, like, bless my parents. I mean, they allowed me to get out there, and I always know that if it got real bad, I could always move in with them, no question. And that's just you don't even have to ask that, right? But as a grown man, that's the last thing you want to do, right? Is move back in with mom and dad. But they allowed me to go out and take risks. You know, the writing was on the wall. This probably isn't going to work out.
Right.
But damn, they knew that I was going to learn a lot about myself, and they supported me. Anyway, long story short, I ended up going flat broke, and I was eating Costco hot dogs, and that got old quick. And my dad, as a gift, we started getting steaks from this really amazing butcher out in Balzac. Yes,
it's a place in Alberta called Balzac.
I'm not even kidding. You can Google it. There's a place in Alberta called Balzac.
It's on the other side of Calgary than Cochrane.
Yes. There's a lot of weird names here. Anyway, beside the point. My dad gave me this box of like AAA sirloin filet mignons, like top shelf steaks. He's like, Eric, I want you to have this and enjoy a steak every once in a while. You know, like. And I was so grateful for it. And I stashed it away in my freezer, and I was like, oh, I can't wait. I'm going to save that for a special occasion.
And so he just kept prolonging the special occasions. And he kept preparing to have this steak on a special occasion. And what happens if you leave meat in the freezer too long? It freezer burns.
Yeah, it's not great. Right.
So I had to throw out an entire. It was all gone. I didn't enjoy my steak, and that's the saying that we have now when we have to. Hey, you know, we're really in battle right now. How can we enjoy let's stop and enjoy what's happening,
and to get out of your head of thinking of the future and planning or the past and living through regret, but if you're over preparing and you're always focusing on what do I need to do? What do I need to do? What do I need to do? Sometimes you do that too much and you can forget to eat your steak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the steaks go bad. I never got to enjoy them. The intention of the gift from my dad was never realized because I kept preparing for the day when any day could have been a celebration. And that's what we forget. We forget that every day that we wake up, that is a win. You woke up. You're alive. You can walk. You can breathe. That's life. We are lucky.
And I want to take it to the other end of the spectrum because we both have a gentleman in our life who never prepares for anything. So, David, I want to talk to you about the other spectrum. What do you think about people who just don't prepare?
You know, there are some people that seem like they don't prepare at all and can kind of gracefully handle any situation that comes their way. I am not the type to have that mindset. I get a little bit, I get nervous. I get anxiety when I'm ill prepared for something. And so there are some, man, I know some people too, where no matter what, they're 5 minutes late to everything. They're unprepared for everything. You know, did you bring this? Did you bring this? Did you bring this? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. And all of those things. And it's like that it can drag you down. And I wonder more than anything, how many missed glorious opportunities you end up having just right in front of you because you didn't, you know, think of all the places you could go. It's like the eat your steak, right? Think of all the places you can go if you stepped on the train instead of just watching the train go by and you weren't prepared to get on it.
Truth.
And I think that is really what holds people back from so many things. And also that, you know, that whole preparedness and out of fear and all of that, there's there is that thing to it where it's like I'm afraid to prepare even because I'm afraid of this thing, or this is really intimidating. And by taking it back and just preparing in little chunks of, okay, I just need to be ready for this, ready for this, ready for this. Everything is right in front of me. I know what I have to do and I can go. And it allows you to just sort of make that move, to eat the steak, to get on the train, whatever you want to call it, just to do it. So it is, I think you miss too many opportunities when you are ill prepared for life or for anything else.
It's always prime time.
Opportunities come to those who are prepared. Because if you can't capitalize on an opportunity, if you're not ready for the opportunity, and being ready means you're prepared. You know what? I'm ready. I've done my work. I've done my training. I've practiced my drills. I've done that. Like when you're ready. And you know what? Being prepared feels good. It does.
And I have a quote. It's not the most appropriate quote. It's from a football coach, so it will kind of put it into context. Opportunity always comes disguised as an ugly fat chick.
Okay. All right.
So his theory on opportunities, especially within the game of football, where they don't always present themselves in and the way you think that they're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Now, his reference was, you always are after this beautiful, perfect situation. But sometimes when you get that thing, it's not what you expected or you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
The opportunity is disguised. And sometimes it can be disguised in something that you never thought was the opportunity. It could be disguised in this person, place, or thing that you never thought was possible. So you have to be ready for it. Explore everything. Always be ready at any situation and with everything that you encounter for it to be an opportunity or a chance in order to do great things.
Yeah, maybe the fat chick's the most incredible human in the world and is the love of your life, and you get to spend the rest of your life in bliss and happiness.
That's exactly where he went with it after.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it's...
Now let me ask you guys something. I'm kind of curious. Do you have a particular event in the course of Budo Brothers and creating this business and having it grow where you felt that you got a lucky break?
Yeah, actually. And
to follow up, was that lucky break present because you were prepared in some way for that moment?
Ooh, okay. So I look at the recent devastation the coronavirus had on the economy. And this is probably the only time we'll ever talk about this. But the reality is that that's the answer to this question. What was it that we were lucky, we felt lucky for? Like, wow, right? Were you prepared? No, well, we were. But here's the interesting thing. When we started out, we started selling physical products. And given that this was a startup, this was hey, let's spend $1,000 to see if we can create a business and actually learn how to monetize what we are passionate about, martial arts. So let's see if we could do that. We did that. And that took us down this crazy journey where we connected with incredible people. Our business grew, and we're still running this out of my condo. Now, we grew to the point where it was so taxing, and I haven't entertained guests in over 3 years. This has been, my condo is a industrial wasteland. Okay, I'm sitting next to a massive garbage, a bunch of cardboard boxes. What else? 400 kilos of hood geese on my living room floor. So it's this crazy space that has capacity. We reached that capacity, but we still wanted to grow. But we didn't want to go do brick and mortar and all these and take on all this risk. So we said, what can we do to diversify and grow, but not through physical products? Because that is hard. Every product we are fulfilling, we're folding, we're tying things, we're making it beautiful, we're putting it in the mail.
Physical space.
Yep. So the physical products, like how can we grow beyond that? Because there's a limit that we have reached. We have reached that limit because we almost broke down multiple times. And that is what brought us to the concept of digital seminars. We're like, we are good at online. We're good at filming. We're good at documenting. We're good at producing. Let's give people what they want.
And so the opportunity came disguised. The coronavirus stopped everything, especially everything within the service industry. Martial arts training classes are done. Bars are closed down. People are going out of business, and our hearts were breaking for them. But the opportunity of online businesses exploded. Everybody was now moving their company or their business into an online place and training and teaching people online. And we had a leg up because we have been doing that for a long time.
Totally.
So it was an opportunity. And the other thing that we had was, I owe this a lot to Eric. Luckily, because he's a hoarder and because he likes to store things, he had the foresight to prepare for economic downturns. And we didn't know what shape or form that was coming in. But that's why we stayed lean. That's why we chose to stay as a 2-person company. We chose not to have a lot of overhead.
Yes.
And it was a little bit of a gift for us.
100%.
And it feels terrible to say because I know there's a ton of people listening right now who lost everything because of it.
And we feel for you.
And we do.
And we're sending you our love and our blessings, and we want to help.
And we're always about being big in the community for that. But that was the most recent opportunity that we've had.
We got to call it as it is. Listen, we were preparing for an economic downturn. We had no idea what form it was going to take, but we were in the longest expansion in history. The markets have grown to the point where we are now in uncharted territories. Business cycles cycle. They go up, they go down. We have enjoyed an up. We are closer to the down than we are to another up. So let's start preparing. Let's start throwing cash in savings. Let's start putting together a war chest. Let's start preparing. Let's prepare so that if the market does collapse due to whatever, and we are not going to get taken down with it, because what we're doing is purposeful. We are both on purpose.
And one of the biggest martial art mindset pieces that I can say we implemented into how we operate was the idea of protecting home base. Like, these great warriors were responsible for protecting the king, protecting the way of the government, protecting their communities. And we treat Budo Brothers like it is royalty.
Truth.
It's a corporation. It is a separate entity from us.
It is. Yeah, we're not Budo Brothers.
We are not Budo Brothers. We protect Budo Brothers.
Yes. We're those warriors.
And we have not taken a paycheck from Budo Brothers to date.
Ever. Not one dime.
Because we want to protect that entity with everything we have.
And that movement and the ability to spread and celebrate martial arts and allow that power to tap into everyone's life. Every human can benefit from martial arts. I'm convinced of it.
You know, people will say, looking at you and looking at, you know, at how you survived or even thrived through an economic downturn of some kind. And they'll say, like, you know, wow, you guys are really lucky that you were set up this way. But, you know, that there is a saying, luck favors the prepared. And even if nothing happened at all, and you're doing all these things to have your war chest and to have everything set up and to be okay in case of anything, you know, it's the same cliche. Like, you know, you get a flat tire, you want to make sure you have it. Like, the reason you carry a spare around is to be prepared for when you get a flat. And sometimes you're going to get that flat. And, you know, my dad was like this with every single car he ever owned, where there was a toolbox in the car, there was a tire in the car. And I swear, I think he checked the air pressure on that tire every 2 days. Right. But sure enough, on a family trip, there goes the tire. And in 10 minutes, we're back on the
On
road
event.
and everything's cool. And yeah, and it's perfectly fine. And you may think like, and I teased him about it numerous times. Like, Dad, what are you doing? You have like an entire shop in the trunk. Like, why? But sure enough, it's just being prepared for something.
That's really cool. I learned.
So do we have a?
I learned a lot just by listening to all of this, like just the importance of preparation and just reflecting on our situation. And I think to summarize, we got lucky that we had digital seminars and that it just so happens that the chain of events that led to an increase in demand in online training happened. That's luck. Right. Like we did not prepare for that. We prepared for the correction. We prepared for the market to collapse due to debt, due to oil prices, due to any of the number of powder keg matches that could ignite the entire matchbox.
Absolutely. And I always look at luck. I can't decide whether luck exists or it doesn't. I think it's somewhere in the middle of things because, there's certain aspects of when this was timed that we were lucky with. Like, when we were in our ordering cycle, it was at the perfect timing. We didn't have to pull trigger and order a ton of gear and have to sit on it for extra months because people weren't consuming stuff. But at the same time, a lot of people create their luck.
I think we do.
Professional athletes, if you were to look at them and the shots that they're hitting and the movements that they're making and how they like deke around people and drain baskets, you're like, man, that guy got lucky on that shot to win the game. And then they go do it again and again. And it makes you wonder, is that luck or is that guy showing up every day and putting in work?
Prepared.
Is he taking that shot every single day for the moment when it's his time to take that shot or her time? And to sink it. That's
awesome. So that like an automatic, it becomes an automatic movement for them, especially something like, you're talking about basketball shooters, they're throwing up 10,000 shots over the course of a summer to prepare for a season. So it makes it so it's like all that preparation, then like, man, he hit it bounced off the rim, it went in. It's like there were so many hours of work and hard work that was put in before that in order to make that a possibility.
No kidding.
So do we have a Budo Brothers challenge related to being prepared or preparedness in any way?
I will challenge, and you know what? I'm going to challenge this Budo Brothers challenge to Budo Brothers to put more structure around your preparation, but don't let the structure hinder forward momentum. There's always a balance between being nimble and being structured, right? No structure, things fall apart. Too nimble, things fall apart. There's always a balance.
Too much structure.
It's a balance, right? Like you got to find that sweet spot where we're prepared. We have systems in place that encourage preparation, but we're also flexible enough to change when the dude throws a crazy hook and a cross and something that we haven't seen before. We can adapt on the fly and respond. So where's that balance? So my challenge is focus. If there's something in your life that you want to achieve, I want you to light that match, light the fuse, set a date, and by this time, I'm going to be prepared too. And your job is to fill in the blank.
So I think it kind of comes down to like, eat the steak, right?
Oh, right. Yeah. Another. Okay, Kyle, you get to issue. I've already issued. You only get one Budo Brothers challenge per episode, so you have one left.
A challenge? The second Budo Brothers challenge.
Eat your steak.
If you got a AAA Kobe beef, whatever the heck top of the line steak is sitting in your freezer, or you have something in your life that you are saving for the perfect moment that'll never come, enjoy that thing. Enjoy that thing and live life.
Love it, love it, love it.
That's amazing. It is. It lets you enjoy it. It gives you the freedom to do it. You're stepping forward. It's all those good things, man. Eat the steak, right? Eat the steak. It. I love it. Well, as always, any last thoughts on preparedness? Something else that's on your mind, or we're going to wrap it up right here?
I'm good to close it right there.
I think
let's close it right there.
I just got one quick thing.
Ooh.
Sure,
martial artists in general are prepared. I think that's one amazing thing about martial artists.
It's an attribute that you develop through martial arts.
You are studying martial arts to prepare for if something was ever to happen to you, or somebody was trying to bully you, or somebody was trying to physically harm you. So by studying martial arts, even if that's not on your mindset, you are preparing for something. So I know people listening to this podcast are already prepared in that way.
Love it.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you both, gentlemen. This was a really, really good one that we were well prepared for. And we want to make sure anybody that is listening, please find us on all the social media things. Subscribe to the podcast, share it with some others.
On the Instagram,
all that kind of stuff.
on the Twitter,
on the Instagram,
on the YouTube.
All them things.
All them things.
All right. As always, thank you guys, and I will catch you on the next episode.
See you next week.